Hello, lovely people. Welcome back to the URKLANG channel and welcome to the very first episode of 10 Minutes Sound Lab. We dive deep into sound design tips, tricks, techniques, and creative ideas in, just 10 minutes. Let's jump into it. So, in this first episode, I want to show you a kind of simple and basic trick, but really one of my favorite tricks I want to share with you. And it never gets old. We need, therefore, a convolution reverb. For those who don't know, what is a convolution reverb? A convolution reverb, in comparison to normal digital algorithm reverbs, they work with algorithms. Convolution reverb works with an impulse response. What does it mean? An impulse response is kind of it is a live recording, a field recording of a certain sound recorded and captured in a specific place and space. So, for example, you can go to a cathedral or to a cave or an empty room or whatever and record there something like a loud clap or a popping balloon or starting pistol or whatever. But be careful, don't bring a pistol into a cathedral. And then you take this field recording as an impulse response and implement it into a convolution reverb, which has the effect that the reverb then sounds naturally in comparison to a digital reverb. So, for example, when you have a field recording of a sound in a cathedral, and you put this on a snare drum, the snare drum sounds like it is played in a cathedral. And this is a super nice technique to have a kind of also warm and natural sounding reverb. And it's super nice explore your environments, go to the next empty house or cave or whatever, take your field recorder, record there some impulse responses, and this also helps you to find your own signature sound. Impulse responses, I use them a lot because they sound more naturally. I use a lot Ableton's Max for Live Convolution Reverb Pro. This one is really amazing. You can see down here we have different types, real places, chambers, made for drums, and also that one is nice because we have here the experimental type, and each type has different impulse responses here. How does an impulse response sound? We have here, for example, the maybe most famous Taj Mahal impulse responses, and they sound like so. So we can put an impulse response in a convolution reverb and put it onto a sound, and we have a nice natural reverb effect. But what happens when we turn this around? And this is the trick I want to show you. So first, grab any sound like a white noise sound. I have grabbed here an impulse response. You can also put and grab and use a hi-hat sound, a snare sound, a reversed riser sound, a white noise sound. That's it. Let's have a listen. I also put in a panning from right to left. I also implemented Saturn to enhance a little bit the harmonics. And then, for example, to this white noise sound, I would implement a normal convolution reverb sound. It sounds like this. Nice. Okay, but the trick is now take a synth sound, a melody sound. You can also use drum sounds or whatever, be creative. And therefore I took, for example, that sound here. Okay, nice. This one is, by the way, in B minor. The track is in G minor. So what I've done here, I pitched it down for semitones. And then I duplicated it and consolidated it from new. So now the sound is doubled long as before. And what we can do now is drag and drop this melody sound, this synthesizer sound, into a convolution reverb. Kaboom. And there we have now a kind of synthesized reverb sound, a resonated reverb sound, when it makes sense. Let's have a listen now to that one. Again, in comparison, first, let's take a normal reverb convolution sound. Okay, nice. And now let's take the synthesized reverb sound. So it has a rhythm inside and a melody inside, and this is really, really nice. I also played around with the length, so you can see here I tweaked the decay and the size. I also implemented a little bit of pre-delay, 9 milliseconds. I also did here a low cut in the EQ in the Convolution Reverb itself, but also in the end I have here a low cut with a Pro Q4. And here I don't have 100% wet dry because I want to let the dry signal come through a little bit. And this makes sense when we look at this. We have here two sounds. You see here I have a fade in of this impulse response white noise sound, and here I have a fade out, and the transients here come through. Let's listen to that one. You can hear the transients and it's more sharper. When I would do here 100%, it sounds like so. Also nice, but not with this transients and this sharpness. So most of the time I end up between 96 to 99%. This is the first step of this basic, simple, but amazing trick to have an interesting reverb sound. In next step, what I've done is I resampled that one here. And by the way, it's always nice to have an audio clip at the end of your dot sample, put it on resample, aim it, and then you can always quickly resample any sound in your project. I resampled that one here, and I reversed the clip by pressing R. Always know your shortcuts, or right-click R, reverse the clip. Deactivate here the audio effect track. And let's have a listen here, because now it has the effect that the reverb sound is coming back again. So it's here fading out and here coming in and back again. Super nice. Additionally, I have here this audio effect track set up. I put in a spectral resonator. I activated the scale mode. Also here up you can see scale mode G minor. So now when you go here from hertz to notes, the spectral resonator is played in a key, in the key of what you dialed in here, in G minor in my case. I tweaked around a little bit with decay and the mod rate. It is, by the way, in granular mode. Also raised a little bit the input signal, and 72% of wet dry. Next one, I have an erosion and 3 LFOs. First LFO in remote mode here and in the glide waveform mode is mapped to the frequency of the erosion. The second one, also remote mode and in stray waveform mode, is mapped to the amount of the erosion. And the third LFO, remote mode in stray, but you can tweak it and you can choose whatever waveform you like. And this one is controlling the rate of the second LFO, which is controlling the amount of the erosion. And you can see here the erosion is played now randomly, which is super nice. Next, I have an echo in ping pong mode, 44% of mix. You can see here 1/32 on the left side and right side, 1/8, both dotted, but do it like you like it. And at the end, I have here also a low cut with a Pro Q4. This effect, I grouped it and I split the signal to a parallel processing. So the signal goes in, is split into a dry signal and into the wet signal. Here I mapped the volumes. Macro 1 is dry volume, macro 2 is wet signal. And now I can use it as a sound effect, but because this is nothing else than a sound effect. Audio effect rack with parallel processing and playing with the volumes is nothing else than a sound effect. And why did I split this here and mapped the volumes? Because you can see here, for example, in the beginning, this is the dry signal, this is the lane of the wet signal. Here the dry signal is fading out at the same time where the wet signal is coming in. Yeah, and that's the effect. And this is a super nice trick also to have and to create nice and smooth transitions from one part to the next part. Record, resample, long reverb effect, and for example, reverse it, put some effects on it, and make a smooth transition from one part into another part. So everything is more glued together. Yeah, so this was the first episode of 10-minute sound lab. I hope I did it in 10 minutes. Maybe it was 12 minutes. I'm not sure. Let's see in the end when I cut the video. When you like this trick and want to show and want to see more, please subscribe, hit the bell button for notifications for upcoming videos, comment, share the video, and so on. You know, it helps me a lot. We're going to have a listen to this part of the track now. And yeah, we'll see you in the next episode. Have a wonderful one. Stay musically. Boom, boom.